So I want to know about this award. How have you been doing it for 10 years? That requires a lot of consistency. What is this award about, and what does it mean
Is
to you?
the regulation that we see usually. It's not based on only an industry or one country or region. AI has a big hype and buzzword. It doesn't mean everyone needs to get in.
Yeah.
So it's
What advice would you give people who are in their own industries, for example, lawyers, doctors, engineers, and they are scared that AI is going to take our jobs? Certain formats for prompting.
yes,
For example,
yes,
chain of thought. You can tell the
yes.
AI, give me the answer, but also give me your chain of thought. How did you reach to that answer?
But AI is just like what it's doing is it's making us more productive. It's
Yes.
trying to help us by doing more within a short amount of time.
So it's always interested me how AI is impacting different industries. And our guest today has worked in several different industries. In fact, he has been at the forefront of AI innovations, from aviation all the way till healthcare. He has worked in different industries. Rahat Yasir is currently serving as the head of data quality and analytics at the International Air Transport Association, IATA. Rahat is recognized as Canada's top 30 developers under 30, and he has been awarded Microsoft's most valuable professional in AI not once, not twice, but 10 times. That's a decade long achievement, and it's not easy to come. So let's find out how he has been doing this. Rahat, it's my absolute pleasure to have you on my podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Adnan, for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy to share my experience in regarding data analytics and AI with the audience.
Thank you so much, Rahat. So let's start off. I want to know all about your data and AI journey. How did you end up in AI, and what motivates you even today to keep progressing in this field the way you have been doing?
So actually, when I started working for data analytics and AI domain, that time it was not even like called AI. So when I chose that one, when I started to like work on projects back in, I think 2011 12 that time, we were calling it intelligence systems. So we were trying to like give some sort of intelligence to our software system. So that time I was working in a mobile app. We wanted to take some photo and then doing some analysis on that photo and saying, okay, this type of pattern is found on this particular activities or places, so that you should do this. So we were trying to make our softwares as intelligent as possible. That time those kind of like TensorFlow or PyTorch framework didn't exist. There were some very basic like open source libraries were there, and we were trying to like develop our own libraries in most of the cases in C++, in C. So that was a different world. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and that got you motivated into data science and AI.
Yes. So since the beginning, as I said, since the beginning of my career, I started to work on that intelligent systems, and that kind of like drew my attention like towards this world. And I did my bachelor in computer science and engineering. Later, I did my master's in artificial intelligence or kind of like computer vision. And eventually, I worked in the lab and then started to work in the industry in different phases.
Yeah.
Started my journey from a software engineer to system engineer to research scientist to kind of like AI developer, and now I'm working as a head of analytics at a like international corporation.
Awesome, awesome. So Rahat, would you say that, are you an AI expert? Do you think you have excelled in the field of AI?
Uh, Honestly, even after working for so many years, over a decade, I'm not gonna call myself expert. I love to work on AI. I love to like build AI stuff. I get fascinated with all the innovation that are happening. So I'll prefer to stay there. So
Yeah.
I am an AI user. I'm fascinated by all the activities or things that we are using that is coming in future as well. So yeah, I'm a big fan of AI. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I know this is really humble of you, but I've heard many experts, or at least the leaders of the AI industry, and even some things they also say that we don't know about this. For example,
Yes.
when generative AI came out, I've heard so many instructors say that this was something that we even didn't know about, and that's because like you said, previously people were working on several niche aspects of AI or data science or machine learning, but when generative
Yep.
AI came, that's when we really generalized AI, and then people have started being exposed to AI. Uh, so that's really humble of you. But if I open your LinkedIn page, in fact, anybody who opens your LinkedIn page, there is a list of achievements, and the biggest image that comes in front of are all those rings that you have accomplished, over the years of Microsoft's MVP. So I want to know about this award. How have you been doing it for 10 years? That requires a lot of consistency. What is this award about, and what does it mean to you?
So Microsoft MVP journey started back in 2014, and then I was rewarded for the first time back in 2015. So that time again, AI MVP didn't exist. So I was rewarded Windows Dev MVP, Windows Development MVP. So why? At that time I wrote. I was a big again. I was a big fanboy of Windows Phone, or the phone that we used to play with or use, Nokia Lumia 820, 920, 1020, those kinds. And I wrote a book on Windows Phone 8.1 application development. The reason was I noticed that there was no book or a very little amount of tutorials or kind of like video blogs or things were available for the developer community. And eventually I also Windows Phone became a universal Windows platform, and I wrote another book, Universal Windows Platform Application Development. And again, I didn't publish them sold them. I kind of like published that as a free open source book so that anyone can download. A few of them download for a few thousands of times at the C Sharp corner. But people were like reading it, taking help from that, and giving me different types of like feedback. Oh, you should add this one, you should modify that one, it was really good, it really helped me. So that was the purpose, like getting that feedback, getting that
Hmm.
having that
MVP
connection
was
with the
not the goal.
community. So no,
Yeah.
MVP was never the goal. It's still like even after 10 years, MVP is not the goal. So it's kind of like I love to do things, and then as a reward, Microsoft reached out to me. They nominated me for the MVP award, and then I got that MVP award. And after 10 years, after 3 years of being Windows Dev MVP, I switched into AI because that was my domain. That's where I was working mostly. And then Microsoft also started AI MVP kind of like category by then. And since then, it's been like over 7 years. I'm an AI MVP, like in this AI category. And again, I don't do it to get the award. I'm really thankful to Microsoft for rewarding me. But again, every year what I do is I write blogs. I try to give a talk at conferences, seminar, workshop. I try to mentor as many people as possible. I try to attend different types of like Imagine Cup kind of like events. Try to join there as a uh, judge. Try to like help the young bloods as much as possible. So that's my passion, and which kind of like as a byproduct, I got those awards. So I never
Yeah.
thought about those awards. I'm happy, but again, even if I don't get the award tomorrow, I will continue doing what I do.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, really, I mean, I think this award it cannot do justice to what you're doing, giving back to society and helping the young generation. And, a little bit story about myself that, 6 years ago, I was a telecom engineer and I had no background in AI. And I was really passionate about coding. Even in my telecom engineer job, I was coding and automating everything. Even, timesheets were automated in Python. I was not entering them manually. So the break I got in AI is through mentors like you. I would reach out to people on LinkedIn who were practicing data scientists in different fields, and then I would go and sit and have coffee with them and ask them how can I enter into this field, and then that's how I got a blueprint, and then I worked on it, and then I entered into this field. So it really, what I mean is like this award is an excellent achievement. Of course, it's a reward, but the benefits you're doing are intangible. I don't think we can put a dollar value on it.
No,
So
for sure.
continue doing that, and like you said, whether you get the award or not, you'll be continue doing it. That's so awesome to hear that there are people like you out there in the CI industry. Thank you so much. And let's get to the next question. So you have been working as an AI developer. In fact, the way you talk, it seems like you are a very passionate developer, and like you said, you're a fanboy of AI as well. So one question that people ask me a lot, or because I'm also teaching in the weekends, I have some MIT courses that I do mentorship for, and a lot of these professionals who want to transition into AI, they ask this question: how is AI development life cycle different than a software development life cycle? So, what is your answer to this question?
It's completely different. So Lifecycle is completely different. The roles that are involved around software development and also like AI development is also like completely different. So you can train a software developer to implement AI, but again, same you can do. An AI developer can also like learn certain software development framework, but the activities, the process, the framework, it's completely different. For sure, like one of the thing I need to mention here is that when we work with data science on AI, or AI at least, it's not like we will. There's no guarantee that we will end up with the product. So one of the big part is once you have the idea, you need to know what you're trying to achieve, what type of like AI product you want to have, what is the input, what is the output, do you have the data or not, is the data good or not, because data is the fuel of AI. So if you do not have the right data, if you do not have the right quality within the data, you're not going to get anything like good at the end. So you need to make sure that the chances of like reducing or increasing the accuracy of your AI or AI overall AI product, largely depending on the good data, having like clean data, like a well scalable environment, like proper infrastructure on that one. On the other hand, the software is different. So
Yeah.
it's not like there is a like a stat that we always hear: 85% of the AI use cases doesn't make it to production. But
Yes.
on the other hand, software always make it into production. But again,
Yes.
the question is it usable software, useful software, good software? Those are the different things.
Mm.
But this is the kind of like a key difference. And for sure, when you are trying to build AI, if you look at like so the GPT-3, we started to like notice all those like GPT related activities after the launch of GPT-3 with the chat GPT app. So
Yeah.
GPT-1 was there, GPT-2 was there was BART kind of like language model, not following that level of like a transformer, but transformer came, like a new kind of like evolution started. But if you see the key reason of like why GPT or Chat GPT got like OpenAI like models got so popular was because of the Chat GPT, kind of like a nice, easy to use, intuitive chat system.
Yes.
So this kind of like opened the eyes. Okay, you can have a communication with an AI easily. So that we need to give credit to software engineering team that build that easy to use like
Yes.
interface, that communication, that overall the infrastructure as well. But again, there are thousands of AI that are kind of like empowering the software systems. They all are working in the back as an API, communicating with the software application, working with the databases, or like in your mobile app as well. So they are together, but at the same time, software comes first, and then the AI follows based on the data availability.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And would you agree that, for example, a software developer, what he develops in the lab, he develops the software in the lab, and when he puts it into the real world, he is pretty much confident that it's going to work in the same way, right? Whereas an AI developer, when he develops something in the lab and he puts it into the real world, he's not that. I mean, he is confident, but of course, many things can happen out in the real world.
It depends on the type of like data that you feed. Again, most of the cases, certain GPT kind of like model that some of the claims we have seen recently, that type to thinking or system to think
Yes.
thinking is capabilities coming on that level. But again, I'm not going to go on that discussion. I don't even know is it actually doing it or not, or in which level. But for the data science or AI models, what we see is whatever we are feeding, it's just like the byproduct of that training data. So if the data is not good, if the data is very biased, if the data is limited, if the data is unbalanced, for sure it's not going to work out. But if we really feed the data properly and it's robust enough, diverse enough, for sure it should do well in the like in the
Into the
production
real world,
environment
yeah,
too.
production
Yeah,
environment.
in the real world.
So then my always my question is, what went wrong with with Google Gemini, right? It was supposed to be an awesome generative AI product, but it faced so much backlash. It was generating images totally unrealistic, unfactual.
So I'm not gonna like go into the what went well and what didn't like went well, but what I see is for sure generative AI is not always predictable. So just like the way we see that hallucination is a big problem,
Yes.
if yes, we can change attention mechanism, temperature, other kind of like fine tuning, rag, and other kind of activities. But still, sometime we notice in different types of software system that, or when we are trying to integrate GPT with a kind of like workflow or some sort of like automation, it is hallucinating. It is trying to draw conclusion. It's trying to have some extra words. It's trying to like make up things. So it is normal, and that's okay. We will have to like live with that. Same with the Gemini as well. Maybe certain things didn't go well, and then we also like noticed more when because it everything was happening on the demo day. So
Yes.
even on the chat gpt or other cases, we see so many examples that it didn't work well in this
Yes.
kind of situation, or mathematical problems or reasoning. So it's the same thing. Yeah.
It's part of the game. Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
So you still have hopes that Google will be a leader in this AI field?
Oh yeah, like the way I see it is there should not be a single leader. There
Yes.
should be multiple leader,
Yes.
and that's the best way, because when there is multiple leader, there is for sure there is a transparency, there is more communication, there is more ethical side consideration. There is also like more competition to bring more innovation. So from that point, yes, for sure, I want Google to do well. They come up with like lots of great models, and I believe so they will, because they have the
Transformers
most
was
amount
by
of
Google.
data.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And they also have the most amount of data.
Yes.
So still like all the tools that we are using, the Gmail app to Google search, everything is AI powered. So maybe certain things are getting noticed, certain things are not getting noticed to consumer level, but it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you spoke about innovation, and I recently saw this meme which I found really funny. And basically, what it showed was that the U.S. innovates, China duplicates, and EU regulates. So I I found it really funny because the post was about why there's not a lot of innovation coming out of Europe. Basically, they were targeting Europe and saying because Europe is so focused upon governance and about regulations that they're not innovating a lot. So I want to ask you, what is your take on this? Do you think that governance is something that is really important and we should be emphasizing a lot on it, or do you think it's inhibiting innovation and just getting in the way of AI development?
Honestly, I think the ideal situation will be a balance. So we should not over govern, plus also like we should not have overly kind of like be open, like just for the sake of innovation. Uh, if someone wants to innovate, but following certain guidelines or scopes or principles, it doesn't bother, honestly. So in that case, we need regulation. Because there are also like certain bad actors in
Yes.
our society. So when this type of like gpt kind of like models gets completely out of hand, and like certain bad actors are trying to use it, we see a lot of like bad use cases of like spamming call, or bad emails, and also like bad videos as well, for different types of like
Deep fakes and all.
impersonation
Yeah.
or deep fakes, or also
Yeah.
like trying to like copying things to uh, kind of like different types of like activities, bad activities are happening, so we don't want to go there. But at the same time, to regulate those kind of activities, to keep general people safe, we need a certain regulation for sure. And at the same time, having that balance will also help companies to build AI with following the proper compliance, data security, proper safety of the individual's information, privacy, and intellectual property as well. Because if I am writing something and I own that data, I want to keep that ownership. I don't want
Yes.
someone else to create an AI model and monetize on my data.
Based
So
on your
this is
efforts.
also like based on my effort. So this
Yeah.
is also important. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. But my only concern is that the people who are making those regulations should be well versed with AI, because I
Yes.
remember there were those court hearings where they would get Mark Zuckerberg, and the guys who were questioning him had no idea how Facebook was working and how data was being collected and all that stuff. So at least anyone who's making these regulations should be really well versed how AI models actually work, and then they can make some regulations around it. But totally
Yes,
agree.
obviously, education is extremely important in that case. And again, education is not we should not just like serve education to only young people. Education is for everyone, even after certain age, whoever is over 50, 60, and on that policy making position, they also need to learn, go back to kind of like those executive, take those executive courses, understand on a higher level what is AI, what is AI strategy, how it works, so that they know the policies better than us.
Yes.
So in that case, with that extra knowledge, they will be able to come up with like a nicer policies too, and won't
Yeah.
have those kind of like issues as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then, what you spoke about bad actors, it always reminds me, and I always keep mentioning this. I had seen this TED talk by Sal Khan, the founder of Khan Academy.
Yes,
And
yes.
this was in the early days when ChatGPT came out. In fact, I didn't know they were working with OpenAI, on a GPT model, and he didn't know that ChatGPT is out. So he
Yeah.
was kind of a shocked, that, come on, guys, we had a partnership. What happened here? So, but he was saying that, that if we he was saying that the bad scenario will happen when the good guys stop using AI. So that's when the AI will fall into the bad hands, and then AI, it's like, all the weapons are into the bad hands and the police have no weapons. So I think that was a good take on it. And that's why I always like to listen to people who have different views about AI. Who are your top people who you would like often listen to, and you are pretty convinced with their opinions and stuff?
I'm not gonna like name a one or two, but there is a bunch. So I on my LinkedIn I always keep people that kind of like supports AGI, that also like doesn't support AGI, that are kind of like bullish, that are kind of like bearish. So both sides, so that I can enjoy the argument, and I'm a kind of like big fan of like healthy, good conversation, good argument, so that it's not both parties are having mutual respect towards each other. One is saying, oh, in 1 year we will have AGI kind of like taking over the world, singularity is coming. Another side, oh no, it will take 10 more years, it's we are nowhere near. So there is a lot of university professors, like our industry leaders are coming out. They're very vocal since pandemic, I feel. So because virtually we all are getting engaged with each other, having more communication, different types of sessions and everything. So there is a lot, and yeah, and I'm not gonna like name one or two. I also like follow a lot of like MVPs, Microsoft MVPs. They're Microsoft different types of product managers, product owners, PMs in that case. So they also like share a lot of like new innovation papers, ideas that are coming. So whenever a new suppose not just the large language model, when those like Phi or the small language models are also coming out, that can be installed on a local machine or a small application or a small devices, so they all are like sharing those. I really like that approach of kind of like sharing that, and also kind of informing each other without having any kind of like taking Google or Microsoft or OpenAI on that side. So they all are like a pro immigrant, like pro innovation, and that's how it should be, and that's how it should grow actually.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a very good idea. We should always be, if somebody's providing how AI is actually ending up in a use case, then that's really good. Because I never used to listen to product managers that much, but recently I listened to one product manager, and he was working on a lot on AI products, and he mentioned how he used AI to give a deaf girl, a deaf and mute girl. They found a small clip of her voice, and they used AI to give her that voice, and then she would do sign language, and it would get translated into that voice. So I was amazed. That was an excellent application. How AI is benefiting someone.
Yes, for
So
sure.
yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. We should follow up more product managers and project engineers and stuff like that. So, continuing on the governance and regulation piece, you have worked in some of these most regulated industries, for example, aviation and healthcare. So, can you shed some light on how AI is impacting aviation and healthcare while also being regulated and in this industry as well?
So one of the thing I've noticed is the regulation that we see usually. It's not based on only an industry or one country or region. It's very like a diverse. So sometime EU has their own act, Canada has their own act, different Asian countries are coming up with their own acts as well. US has their own acts to follow for both like mostly for healthcare, but for aviation there is also like different association are there similar to IATA, IQ, then the EASA, like FA, so that kind. So what I see is that two things. One is like whenever anyone is trying to come up with the AI solution, whether it's for certain industries or certain domains, so they need to like respect the like that regional laws, EU AI Act, or kind of like a GDPR based data policies, or ER99, or consumer goods related, all the like policies that we have in Canada as well. So that's one of the first things. So if I'm launching a product and I am kind of like looking for like global audience, I need to also like consider how to store the data, where to store the data, having different data centers so that the data boundaries are well handled, having the data security so that it's no bad actor can like reach them. So that is also like a very important side. And then on top of that, if whenever we are launching something or working on some sort of AI, on that like specific like organization, there is always AI governing body or governance body. So they are kind of like gives the seal of approval whether this kind of like model is allowed to be outside or not, do the prediction or not. Doing POC and MVP is one thing, but when it's going outside, giving making different types of like prediction and decisions, it needs to be careful whether it's considering the proper it's safe to use, it's giving the right information or not, is it harmful to people or not, is it biased or not, it's
Yes.
for like covering proper diversity and inclusion cases or not. So that is also like very important. So the and on top of that, if we are also like working on some industries, I have noticed that in insurance and banking domain, there are also like governing council or
Yes.
governing body. So whenever, yes, even if you get green signal in your organization, when you're trying to launch it and integrate it on the insurance mobile app, or trying to like take money based on some sort of like prediction or from the users, you also like get the permission from the governing body. And then
Yes.
if it is a black box model, there are chances that you may not get the permission there. You need to go back and come up with a more explainable
Explainable.
like a white box model, transparent model. So why this is taking this decision, what are the like a key values were used behind this decision, how all those like demography and the activities are impacting behind that decision. Those things are very important. So while few years ago it was very easy to build AI and launch it on a global scale, because there were not that many laws and regulation, but at the same time those are also like needed now. Like when we are doing it, we need to consider country law, regional laws, domain related laws. And again, those laws are there to keep people safe, the
Yes.
user safe, so that no one can abuse AI, and no one's data gets lost, or no harm happen. So
Yeah.
I will just like suggest everyone to get educated on the laws and regulations, so that they're not super complicated. It's just like most of the time you can maintain it to your like an infrastructure, cloud application, or framework provider, but keeping them in your mind is very important.
Yeah, exactly. No, totally agree with you. And also because, sometimes it's hard to track what the impacts or implications of an AI system will have, okay? Because it could be feeding another AI system, or it could be feeding another source of, decision making. And like you said, data is a very important source. So, we have these concepts of data drift and model drift and concept drift, which is very interesting because, at the time you trained the model, the data was in a specific way. For example, pre-COVID models were working great, and then COVID hits. All those models are wasted now because the data is now completely different. Uh, so yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I think that developers and I've already started seeing this in the industry, that they're not only monitoring model metrics, but they're also monitoring governance and AI and ethical metrics, like you said, bias and all that stuff. So
Yeah. So whenever in any organization, whenever an AI model goes into production, before it goes into production, they need to get this certain like seal of approval or some certain like a green signal within the organization. So there should be a AI governing body or enabling body or council that will kind of like review quickly. Okay, what type of data you have used? Is it individuals' information, address, gender? Those type of things were used or not? Is it safe? What is the accuracy looks like? No one is expecting 100% accuracy, but again, is it acceptable? Is
yes,
it making any bias like a decision or not? If it is not, if it is safe, it is not like it was not trained in a bad way, it is also like scalable on that manner, then for sure it is going into the production. And then again, even in the production side, we see two types of monitoring. One is kind of like, okay, I put this model, now thousands of people are going to use it. Does it have the capability to be scalable on that
scale up. Yeah,
level? So you need to like check, okay, auto scalability, how many pods you have, how are you gonna grow it, what is the kind of like peak hour, off peak hour, those kind of things. It's more into like the application and then the infrastructure point of view. And then second thing comes into the monitoring of the actual model, the monitoring of the inferencing and the performance. Is it actually performing as expected? Is the data pattern changed since the training time? So if I train a model for Pinterest example, that I will say, this is today's weather, I'm going to this type of event, suggest me what type of clothes should I wear. So it is trained on last 2020 data. It's suggesting me to, oh, you should wear this. But again, if I want to use it in 2024 2025, it is trained on older data.
yes,
Obviously the trend has changed, the
yes,
fashion has changed.
yeah,
So the data should be up to date, the model should be up to date as well. So it should get trained on newer fashion, newer trend, newer activities, so that the drift is not happening.
yes,
We all are the AI model is not garbage, it's giving us the right
yeah,
information. So that is very important. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And one more thing I always question is that does everything require an AI solution? Because right now it looks
No, no,
like
no.
everyone wants an AI solution.
So two things I see. So usually, like yes, it's a hype is happening, buzzword is happening. So in some cases, everyone is a lot of people are calling ChatGPT API or OpenAI API, and then trying to call it those are AI powered system. But again, I'm not going to go on that argument. But what I also say is, we can have AI model, AI system that can empower our software solution, and that's what is happening. Whether you use your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the news feed, all the messages, whenever I book like a flight, whenever I book an Uber, everything is actually like happening based on the AI. Whether it's a Uber pricing, finding the right match that can come and pick me, or the predicting the like fastest route, like the drop off location, everything. So AI is there, AI is going to stay, AI is going to empower more and more system. But again, just like very few software system like succeeded just on just based on only AI. So AI can be the feature that kind of like empower our other features. AI can be the kind of like giving us competitive advantage compared to like other competitors. If we are launching Uber and then a few other applications similar, so if one of them use AI heavily, they should have more personalized information, it should give more
It should be part
comfort
of an
to the user,
ecosystem.
it
Yeah,
should be a part of that ecosystem. So
yeah,
that is going to like those type of changes are brought by AI.
yes,
And just thinking about the AI is not going to like give anyone competitive edge, but thinking about an ecosystem where AI
exactly.
can empower like individual features, that will be a game changer
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, if you look at the system designs of Netflix and Amazon and how they build the recommendation system, AI is a very important component, but it's just one component. There are several
Yes.
other components. They build
Yes.
massive databases about people. They do similarity checks, this and that. They have guardrails to make sure that they don't, so no wrong recommendations go out, and so many other things. If somebody just thinks that, and that's why we have this differentiation between AI models and AI systems. AI model is just one trained model, and then AI system is that ecosystem in which it's sitting.
Yeah.
So
Or even like you can also call AI system something that trains other AI model, or some sort of like SageMaker or Azure Machine Learning Studio. Those are kind of like AI system where through which you can have another AI model. But again, end of the day, as you were saying, AI is just a single trained model that kind
yeah,
of like takes X as an input and output is Y. In most of the cases, those prediction model that we see or time series model that we see, now the generative AI is a bit different, the nature is different, the use cases are a bit different. But again, end of the day, it is depends on which feature or how we want to use it, how can we empower the software solution based on the AI in the backend.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think, like, this brings us to our next point. If somebody, wants to enter this field of AI or data science, what advice would you give them? Because, like, when I was entering, and like I said, I was meeting a lot of people, I was getting so many different advices. Learn MongoDB, also learn SQL, also learn this, also learn that, also. So what is your advice?
No, what I will say is stick to basics. You do not need anything fancy. Yes, Gen AI is a big part, but end of the day, most of the AI that are in production are related to like a time series, prediction, regression models, classification models, so that kind. So I will always say traditional models, yes. So I will always suggest to have good basics on those models. Also, learn not just the AI side, learn Python coding, learn a bit about the databases as well, where to store the data, how to handle the big data, what type of data database you will use to store the inferencing, so that it's easy to show on the app or application as well. Get aware of the different types of database or database ecosystem too. Learn a bit on the cloud side too, whether it's Azure, AWS, or GCP. Learn how the cloud ecosystem works. So if you have the idea how those model are working, how to deploy those model, how the cloud is working, for sure. And If you do your computer science or bachelor or master's degree, and doing good internship at a good place will always give you a boost to be to be selected for the interview, to show your overall competence as well. And have a good portfolio. You can always, if you are struggling to get interviews, or if you are struggling to do well, you can always do different as like certification as well. Like Azure has a bunch, like data science certification, as Azure, I think data science associate certification, AI engineer certification, data engineer. Same for AWS has some data engineer, data analyst, ML engineer, AI. So there are lots of option. If someone wants to learn, they have the option. If someone wants to move from
Upskill, yeah.
student or upskill from a software engineering to AI, that is also the option. But one thing I always tell everyone, that AI has a big hype and buzzword. It doesn't mean everyone needs to get in.
Yeah,
So it's also like it's very attractive, but at the same time, it's also like harder to get in certain
yes.
cases. Yes, around early right after COVID, I felt it was a bit easier with because of the how the industry was. But now it's a bit hard to get in. It's a bit hard to excel. Lots of it's also like moving so fast.
Mm,
It's really hard to sometimes cope up as well. So
yeah,
I will always suggest, if you look at an organization, if an organization have 5,000 people or 2,000 people, maybe 20% of the people are in IT. Example, I'm just
yes,
making up here. Out of that IT, there is traditional like software developers, web developer, cloud developer, database, BI, all the other roles, and then the data science and AI. So if you look at, not all the 200
yeah,
people of
yeah,
that 10% is data science and AI. No,
yes,
maybe 5% of or 10% of that 200 entire IT team is kind of like data science and AI. So you will also need to consider that part.
yeah.
Not every roles are becoming AI roles. So very few AI roles are still very few. So if you can get in, good for you, and you can excel from there too.
Yeah, so you have to be sure that you're passionate about it and you can,
Yes.
be best of the best.
Yes.
Yeah, and like you said, not everybody has to transition into this, but then I think, everybody has to be aware of the power of AI. So then,
Yes. Yes.
what advice would you give people who are in their own industries, for example, lawyers, doctors, engineers, and they are scared that AI is going to take our jobs. What should they be doing?
No, I don't think AI is going to take. Yes, certain jobs. I'm not gonna use the word takeover. It's kind of like it's a change. It's a transition. Just like the way, like if you look at 20 years ago, there were certain types of transport system, and then with the innovation and with the transition, certain transportation got abolished. New kind of way of transportation communication came. Same thing will happen with AI as well, and kind of like. The industry 4.0 that people are saying, IoT, AI, and analytics, that kind. So certain jobs will require less people for sure, because AI can take over certain activities or certain like responsibilities. But at the same time, I also what I say is everyone should. AI is something, it's like statistics. So when and a school teacher, whenever he or she make a mark sheet, oh, how many students got A, how many students got B, so they are using stats. They are saying 10% A, 20% B, 30% C. Same AI as well, so they will use chat GPT or this type of like active apps Khan Academy is building to kind of like share the message. Rather than memorizing something, students are gonna try to understand the pattern, break down the problem into small pieces, have a communication with AI as a chat, kind of like a tutor or buddy, and then come up with a real kind of like problem solving approach. So that's going to happen. So whether it's a doctor, whether it's a any other professional, they need to learn, they need to understand.
So do you think
uh,
prompt engineering is something that people should be well versed in? Or let's
yes,
say
for sure.
prompting, at least prompting,
Yes,
let's not
I'm
call it
not.
prompt engineering. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that there will be a like job sector as a prompt
Yeah.
engineer. No,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah. I
bit
don't think so.
exaggeration, I find.
Yes.
But prompt is something basic instruction. So whenever I'm using Google, I need to give an extra instruction to Google. Hey, I'm looking for this. Tell me the best burger shop in Montreal. So this is an instruction.
Yes.
In
It's a
terms of
prompt.
prompt,
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
just giving a bit more context.
Yes.
Hey, I am hungry, I live here, I am looking for this. Now give me some say advice regarding this, but keep it in your mind, I have allergy, I have this, I don't
Mm.
eat that. So this is the prompt for you. Instead of just a single line of Google, that's just like Google is spitting out a bunch of like information. Here you are getting more personalized information, and you are the one, you are expressing, this is what I'm desiring. So
Yeah.
AI is there to take care of your desire, and that's what we are calling prompt. So
Prompt.
again, I don't call it an engineering. I did bachelor in the computer science and engineering is a very complex
Yes.
field, but I will call it like it's a instruction communication process.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I mean, you're right. I totally agree. But there are certain certain formats for prompting.
Yes,
For example,
yes,
chain of thought. You can tell the
yes,
AI, give me the answer, but also give me your chain of thought. How did you reach to that answer? And then
100%.
similarly, the role, and for example, now you are a lawyer, so use legal verbiage and answer me about this thing. So there are these slight nuances that people should learn. That how to address an AI engine, and also they should also, I think, be well versed with the shortcomings of an AI. Like we spoke about hallucinations, the AI is never going to say I don't know the answer. It's always going to give you some answer. It might be completely wrong, but it'll still answer to you. So
Yes,
people
no,
should
for sure. I
understand that.
100% agree that even for lawyers, as they work with a lot of like document and information, this kind of like a RAG or kind of like prompt or communication searching, communication retrieval, always helpful for them. But what I say is my wife is a lawyer, so I always like see her. But again, I most of the time those documents are kind of like templates. That's what I have also noticed. But the content of those specialized documents kind of like gets changed based on the communication,
Yeah, case by
negotiation,
case.
or
Yeah.
the request, or case by case. So in that case, you will always need the lawyer who needs kind of like accreditation so that they can make that negotiation or legal advice. GPT is not going to make that legal advice. It can just give some like suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think. Like, as the more sensitive things become, the more human in the loop you need. You should always have a human, an expert there to validate
Yes.
the predictions.
No,
So
100%.
Yeah, so I mean, this is absolutely correct. Like, not everyone needs to move into AI, but they do need to have some kind of,
They need to learn. They need
to
to
learn. Exactly.
cope up. They need to see what is
Like you
happening in
said,
the world. How
when the
can
transportation changed, if somebody
yes.
says that, no, I'm still going to use my horse wagon and people are driving
No, it's
cars.
not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But AI is just like what it's doing is it's making us more productive. It's
Yes.
trying to help us by doing more within a short amount of time. And in a lot of cases, it's giving us the heads up. It's giving us that kickstart that we are looking for. It's giving us that template where we don't need to start everything from scratch. It's giving us that blueprint so that we can work on top of that and again it's there to give us a productivity boost
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's gonna stay.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Rahat, there's so much we can always discuss, and this thing can keep going on. And but time is running short. I just wanted to ask you: you've written a book, you've given speeches, you help people out. You are already leading industries in the AI. Is there something on your bucket list that is yet to be achieved, and you think that this is something that I need to work towards?
Honestly, it's the way innovation is moving, the way 4 years ago we didn't know that GPT is gonna
Yes.
come and gonna take over. I believe there will be new things are gonna come in 2 years, 3 years. So from a bucket list, no, honestly, I just want to continue my journey. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I just want to continue learning from everyone. Like you, from this discussion, I learned a lot from my colleagues, from other industry peers. So this is a long journey. We should not think about a small sprint. It's a big marathon we all
Yes.
are running in this life. So we
Yes.
should continue to learn, we should continue to share, we should continue to respect each other's opinion, whether it's about AI or AGI or anything. End of the day, we all are working towards the same goal, to live cohesively, happily with each other in a single society. So no, there is no specific bucket list or bucket goal. It's just continue what I'm doing. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rahat. And I wish you all the best with your career and all the things that you are doing, and to lots of more MVPs to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.